Welcome back, everyone. The state of Wisconsin is seeing success in job growth. Fox News alert. In June, the state gained 8,500 jobs. That's more than half of what the entire nation gained overall.
Meanwhile, one of those reasons for success, the governor, in just 7 months on the job, Scott Walker, has helped the state get back more than a quarter of the jobs lost during the big recession. How did he do it? He joins us live right now from Madison, Wisconsin. Good morning to you, Governor.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
It's great to have you as well. The good news is now that the debt deal is in the president's rearview mirror, he's going to devote all of his attention to jobs. Of course, he's said that many, many times in the past. What's the secret to how you've been able to turn things around in Wisconsin?
Well, in our case, it's two things. Really, we changed the business climate. So when we said that Wisconsin was open for business back in January, we meant it. We passed major tort reform, regulatory relief. We reduced the tax burden on job creators, pulled away the state tax and health savings accounts, even created a new economic development corporation to show that when we said that Wisconsin was open for business, it wasn't just a slogan. We actually were doing it, and we didn't wait 6 months or a year. We did it right away. On top of that, I think the fiscal reforms we put in place, taking a $3.6 billion deficit and turning it into a surplus, those are the things that job creators are looking for. They want stability. They want certainty. They're certainly not seeing it at the federal level, but they are seeing it in Wisconsin.
It's so interesting because you say that buzzword, certainty. I mean, do you think that that's the small business, I forget what the percentage is, but they create, I don't know, 60% of the jobs in communities? So when you give them that certainty, is that the key? They say, hey, we can go back to hiring people?
Well, it really is, because the good news is, as much as I found last year in the campaign, that there certainly were people and employers, particularly small businesses, hurting. There also were a lot of businesses that were in a position where they wanted to hire more people. The problem was they were uncertain about the future. They saw a few years ago all the concerns raised about the federal mandate when it came to health care, and they didn't know what that would mean to them and to their employees. They're still very concerned about that. But within the state, regulations, litigation costs, taxation costs, huge burden for them. We changed that right away. It's why not only in June, but for the first 6 months, we saw over 39,000 new jobs, about half of those in manufacturing, major increases in agriculture exports, even in tourism. We saw an increase in June. So for us, across the spectrum, we're doing pretty well, but it requires certainty.
Sure. Of course, Rick Perry's gotten a lot of good publicity because Texas has done a good job creating more jobs, you in Wisconsin as well. Governor, what advice would you have for Washington, D.C.? Because we are in a pickle when it comes to jobs. What are you doing there that we might be able to do across the country?
Well, I think the biggest thing is getting your fiscal house in order and then easing off, getting out of the way of business. You know, creating jobs, people create jobs, not the government. And I think there's too many people in Washington, including even some Republicans, who somehow think politicians and the government creates jobs. We saw the epic failure of that a few years ago with the stimulus. Instead, what we found in Wisconsin, that didn't help us back then. We lost 150,000 jobs over about a 2-year period. We've gained back about a quarter of those just in the first 6 months of this year. But it's mainly about understanding that, particularly for small businesses, you need to get government out of the way. You need to make it easier to have new ideas and take them to the market, to create an environment where they can understand that things are stable and certain. You do that, there's great entrepreneurs in this country, at least in Wisconsin, who are ready to put people to work again. Yeah,
and the other key is that Moody's, these rating agencies we've been talking about, they gave your budget a positive credit rating, and right now, federally, we're still looking at a possible downgrade. Governor Scott Walker, great to pick your brain on how you're doing it in your state. It seems to be working. Have a good rest of the week.
Well, I think the other key you'll get a kick out of is it didn't hurt that the Packers won the Super Bowl along the way as well.
There you go.
So. Oh, you had to get that into a Vikings fan. All right.
That's right. Well, I know what's something about you guys in Washington quarterbacks that keeps coming back with the Vikings, but we'll take Aaron Rodgers for now, right?
All right, Governor Cheesehead. I say that endearingly. Take care. See you soon.
Have a good one.